Hey, what's up YouTube? What's going on? With today's new video, what I wanted to talk about is why so many people end up with devastating injuries and how it impacts their career and basically ends their career, or they may live their whole life in chronic pain or just with pain. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this video is as I continue to read this book, Gift of Injury, and as I've kind of already read and heard about Brian's story within the first few chapters, I wanted to talk about his story, and then I also wanted to talk about mine because mine can specifically relate to Brian's, but also I know a lot of my subscribers who have shared their stories with me can also relate to Brian and myself as well. So to begin, Brian is a very accomplished powerlifter, like I mentioned before, but prior to that, he basically had developed tunnel vision because he wanted to set all these new personal records, achieve all these goals, and achieve all these accomplishments. Now, he basically was at a point where he was pushing through things consistently and just not listening to his body and not addressing some of the little needs that his body may have needed, where that was with regards to developing various stabilization patterns or exercises, or addressing just proper recovery and just giving his body rest. Rather, he was just consistently pushing through things, and eventually that led to his significant injury, and that's why he ended up with lower back pain and basically almost suffered a career-ending injury, but he was fortunate enough to work with Miguel, and Miguel got him back. Now, I can specifically relate myself because I had that same tunnel vision. I was someone that never thought I was able to get hurt. I thought I was essentially bulletproof. I thought I was really strong, and I thought nothing could happen to me and I wouldn't get hurt or I wouldn't suffer a severe injury like a herniated disc, and I just never thought that could happen to me. However, like I said, that actually ended up happening to me and I was completely wrong. But a lot of that just had to do with my training volume, not monitoring things properly, being a 20-year-old individual, not being the most educated when it comes to the field of strength and conditioning or training at that time, and not understanding essentially how a lot of these injuries develop in the first place. And so, for example, back when I was 19, 20, I was working out sometimes 6-7 days a week, sometimes twice a day, and doing stupid things like bending over to touch my toes to stretch, or just kind of rounding my back to stretch, or doing weighted sit-ups, or just kind of any sort of weighted flexion exercise, or just not having good technique during something like the deadlift or squat. And that eventually was my downfall, and that's when I sustained an injury. And that was my herniated disc. Now at the same time, when I did suffer that injury, I didn't think it was a big injury, thought it was just something minor, thought it was something like a muscle strain or something and it would go away within a week. And I was kind of ignorant, continued to work out, continued to push through things. And the next thing you know, I'm at the doctor's office, have muscle spasms, on pain medications, anti-inflammatories, can't sleep at night. And then you guys that have already heard my story already know kind of the rest. But the point that I just wanted to kind of make, guys, is the reason why a lot of people end up with devastating injuries to begin with is because it's a lack of focus or attention to detail with regards to listening to your body and engaging in that proper recovery. A lot of people just have that mindset where they're going to push through things and they don't think anything bad is going to ever happen to them. And that's far from the truth, because if individuals continuously push through various cycles of certain exercises, especially if they're doing these exercises with bad technique, it's only a matter of time until an injury is going to develop. And that's how we see these devastating or long-term injuries developing, and we wonder why so many people have a devastating injury and it ends their career. Now, with all that being said though, the key kind of takeaway to this, guys, is that it's important to listen to your body and to monitor your body on a daily basis, and just consistently on a daily basis throughout your training or sporting activity or whatever activity you're doing. And so what I mean by that is monitoring your training volume, your sleep, your diet, your nutrition, but also what you're kind of doing on a daily basis with regards to the activities you're engaging in, and monitoring your exercise programs accordingly to what you may have revolved around or outside of your exercise programs or whatever it may be. So the better you can do that and the better you can listen to your body, you're going to put yourself in a better position to not only optimize your performance, but also reduce the risk of injury. And that is the key, is because at the end of the day, my philosophy is that the most important thing is injury prevention, because if we are injured or if we're in pain, then we can't perform, because pain is going to limit us and it's only going to cause further problems. And therefore, if we're in pain or if we have an injury, we can't perform. So that's kind of the way I look at things, guys. And the important thing, like I said, is just to monitor things, listen to your body. And if you're feeling an ache or a pain, it's probably a good indication not to push through that on a certain lift or maybe a certain exercise or activity that you're doing. And maybe best to just cut back, whether that's maybe for a day or a few days, to wait until maybe that pain or the little discomfort that you're feeling goes away. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys today. Now, if you're someone that has suffered a devastating injury or a chronic injury due to maybe having that mindset where you were going to just push through things and you had that mindset where you were bulletproof and didn't feel like an injury was ever going to happen to you, I would love to hear your story if you haven't already shared it with me, or maybe you have already shared your story with me. Just love to hear how maybe things are currently going for you, and if you were able to make a recovery or you're still kind of on that track to making a recovery. And so that's it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and until next time, I wish you guys all the best and a successful and productive day. Take care.